Hello and welcome to another surprise live pop-up chat. And it seems like almost every day this week I have got something to talk about in a live pop-up chat. So I was very excited myself. As you can see from the title, somebody's been talking to the UK press. And I think whenever I hear that Sarah, Duchess of York, or affectionately known as Fergie, has spoken out on anything, I get terribly excited. Of course, we had the newsprint interview which she gave out lots of information, personal information about how she felt about Eugenie's wedding and all that kind of stuff. But this was an interview I woke up to today, and it's on YouTube. It's one that she appeared on for Good Morning Britain, which is a bit like Good Morning America if you're American, so you get the idea. It's a breakfast TV show here in the UK. It's the one that's hosted by Piers Morgan. I know some of you have your own opinions about Piers, but it's the one hosted by Piers Morgan along with some other presenters as well. And yes, I watched the full interview, which on YouTube I think the clip is about 8 minutes long, so you can of course search for it, watch it, maybe come back and see my review, or you can of course watch my review now if you're live and then go and watch the interview and then come back and comment on this video. It's entirely up to you what you do, which way around you do it. But yes, we're going to talk about the interview, exactly what I thought about it. But I want to go to the chat room first while I wait for a few of you to come in live and then of course I can read some of your comments and see what you think about it. If you've already seen it, then please do let me know. Let me just mute myself so that you can't hear me. Okay, we seem to have a lot more people in this evening, which means that hopefully you're getting the full notifications of when I do these videos, because I think in yesterday's one, I don't think many people got notified. HM the King says, why are you wearing a t-shirt of me? Oh, it's a beautiful, gorgeous t-shirt, isn't it? I will definitely read some of the comments once I've done a little bit more speaking. But let's get straight into it. So what did I think? Like I said, the video is on YouTube. It's about 8 minutes long. I'm sure you'll be able to find it by typing in Sarah, Duchess of York, Fergie, Good Morning Britain, that kind of thing. Okay, so first, the one thing that I wanted to comment on, first of all, I've got written down in my notes, her demeanour. Now, as we know from the royal wedding, she was terribly animated, excited, and she was the same in the interview. She was typical Fergie, and I love her for it. I really, really do. She was extremely animated. She was very, very happy, very bubbly, very excited. So you've got to, you know, she definitely lives up to herself. I've also got written down she was happy and cheery. I think just very excited to be there, and we'll get, you know, a little bit onto why I think she's so happy these days in a moment. So first of all, in the first section of the interview, Piers thanked Sarah for getting him his, I suppose, one of his first TV roles, which was on, if you can cast your mind back, he was actually on the US Apprentice with Donald Trump. And Sarah arranged some kind of charity event, and Piers was there, and he got talking and networking, and that's how he landed his role with the US Apprentice, and that kind of launched his TV career. So he thanked Sarah profusely for kickstarting his television career. Now, she was also there, her primary reason, and I do want to go through this, was to promote a street. She has a charity that she's patron of called the Street Child. Now, it was formerly known as Children in Crisis, so it was renamed Street Child. She is patron, and there's a campaign, so she was promoting the campaign called Count Me In. Now, Count Me In is to help children have the right to be educated. So it's to get children from disadvantaged children into school. And at the moment, until the 21st of February 2019, any donations that are made to the Count Me In campaign through Street Child will be matched by the UK government pound for pound. So I've got a link for you. Of course, I haven't put the link in on a live pop-up video, but once I've gone off, I'll put the link in. But it's street-child.co.uk, and there are full instructions there about how you can make a donation if you want to support Fergie's charity. So street hyphen, that's the little line, child.co.uk, and I will put the link in. And like I say, anything that you donate will be matched by the UK government, so it is a really, really good deal. And of course, I want to help Fergie too. So they then moved on to the discussions about the invitation to Harry's wedding. So they touched on the fact that she wasn't invited to William's, and she kind of almost said, well, it is what it is, in those kind of words. But she was terribly honoured and happy and excited to have been invited to Harry's wedding, and I think she almost couldn't believe her luck, and I think that maybe marked the beginning of her being really welcomed back into the fold. She has, of course, in previous years, holidayed with the Queen at Balmoral in the summer holidays, so she hasn't been completely in the wilderness, but I think on more formal occasions, on more public occasions, I think being invited to Harry's wedding marked the turning point, I think, for Sarah. And I think that's kind of what she was getting at and why she felt so happy. So she said that as soon as she got out of the car, she felt the support from the crowd. And this is at Harry and Meghan's wedding, not Eugenie's. So she felt the support. And she, if I remember back to the interview, the words she used was, Fergie's back. It felt like Fergie's back. And I think she definitely got that feeling of support from the crowd, which I think must have been a really lovely moment for her. She described the Queen as Her Majesty is an incredible lady. So she has lots of love and respect for the Queen. So all of these channels giving out fake news saying the Queen's unhappy with Fergie this and Fergie's done this, wrong. Fergie, Sarah, the Duchess of York, or Sarah, Duchess of York, has the greatest admiration and respect for the Queen. She described her as an incredible lady, which of course she is. And she also said that the Queen includes her. So I think, the Queen may have had something to do also with, authorising and welcoming her back into the fold, obviously, because nothing gets past the Queen. Nothing gets past Her Majesty. And she also thanked Her Majesty for being steadfast with her. And I think what she meant by being steadfast with her is that I think the Queen has always supported Sarah, and also Sarah and Andrew in their relationship. She didn't say that, but I think she was hinting at that the Queen has always been there for her throughout all the hard times. She's always been there. Piers also did make a bit of a laugh, saying that she's naughty, and she said that she's always been a little bit like a naughty child, and that she was a naughty child. And Piers said, well, you're still a bit of a naughty adult. And she said, yes, that's why I can still write children's books, because I have this kind of naughty streak in me. So she kind of laughed at the fact that she has had a bit of a naughty streak, but nevertheless the Queen has been steadfast throughout everything, and that's one thing that she really did want to stress, which I think is very important. She said, talking about Eugenie's wedding, that the designer, remember that green outfit she wore, the green hat and the taupe coloured detailing, she said that it was green for Ireland. So she was supporting Ireland by wearing green. There you go. That's why she was wearing green. Who knew? I didn't know. I didn't know she was wearing green for Ireland. Now, let's have a look. She said that she went nuts. She went nuts at the wedding, and we know that when she got out of the car, she did go nuts. She was incredibly animated, and she wandered over to the crowd. I think she was the only royal to have done that. I think I've made a point of saying that I would have loved to have had Fergie cam all the way through the wedding, because watching her was just an absolute delight. It really was. It was a charm. But the reason why she went over to the crowd is because she recognised somebody. Who knew? She recognised a lady in the crowd, which was a lady in a wheelchair. And apparently the lady in the wheelchair was her mother's best friend. And there was someone else that she recognised as well. So that's why she went over there. She also stressed the message which she gives to her daughters, which is to be who you are. And that is certainly something that Sarah cannot be accused of ignoring her own advice, because she is totally who she is. And she said it's very important to, and she teaches this to Beatrice and Eugenie, it's important to remember people, and not to be up yourself. She didn't say the words up yourself, but that's what she meant. She said remember the names of the people who make your dinner. Remember the names of the people who drive you around. Remember the names of the people who look after you, and be nice and be a good person and be as good a person and as good a version of yourself as you can be. So I think I get behind her message there. And they began, and it was cut off rather abruptly because they ran out of time for the interview. But Piers questioned her about, is she going to get married to Andrew? And I was really happy at that because I thought, let's get stuck in there. Because one thing that Piers is good at is getting straight to the point. And he does ask all those sorts of questions. So I was really excited. But they kind of ran out of time. And Sarah was saying, look, I'm really happy the way I am, blah, blah, blah. And then they ran out of time. But eventually she ended laughing, saying, Piers, get a life. She was laughing, of course. It was a joke. No scandal here. It was just a joke. She said it in a really funny, light-hearted way. So, like I say, do go and watch it, and then obviously you can come back and comment because you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, that's all my notes done, but I want to see what you guys are saying. So let's have a look. I'll start at the top and just kind of scroll down until I get some comments. Let's have a look. Oh, D-Ray says, I saw the interview on YouTube. I love your t-shirt. Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the interview too. Margaret says, I just got the notification. What a lovely surprise. Well, I'm really glad that you are getting the notifications now. Mrs. BSN says, I'm off today, vacation day. Well, I'm glad you're having a vacation. Prior to Thanksgiving tomorrow. Of course, Thanksgiving. And also off on Friday. By the way, there is no official confirmation that Meghan is actually cooking a Thanksgiving dinner. I think everyone's just gone with it because, like I said in my yesterday's video about Doria staying for Christmas, it's very likely that she will be cooking a Thanksgiving dinner. But of course, no one knows for sure if she is. So we don't know that she's cooking a Thanksgiving dinner for the royal family. It's not been announced. So just bear that in mind. I just thought I'd mention that, seeing as Thanksgiving came up. But I'm sure she will be cooking a Thanksgiving dinner. I see no reason why not. Amy Kimball saw the Sarah interview this morning. And Mary says, I appreciated the fact that Fergie spoke highly of the Queen. I think it seems like they've always had a good relationship. Floss and Rog says, loved her sign off to Piers Morgan. Yes, that was the Piers get a life. But light-heartedly, of course. Mrs. BSN says, I will look for it and watch after this live chat. Elaine says, 107 in the chat room. And yes, pound the like button. I'm glad people are getting the notifications. Mary says she didn't deny a remarriage, nor did she admit it either. They ran out of time. Oh, I really wish they could have gone on a little bit more. I think Sarah should go back on the show a bit more. Or even on Loose Women, which is the British version of The View. I think she'd be amazing on it, actually. And it kind of just, the whole interview just endeared me even more to Sarah. I think my own personal opinion is that I really, really like her. Let me know what you think. Mike Crown G says, Piers Meghan is negative about Meghan. He has made some comments that have been well publicised and discussed. Nico says, I love these surprise live chats. I love doing them. Elaine says, my only royal I'm not keen on is Andrew. Why? Do tell. Elaine says, I would not support Fergie. Well, think of the children. Think of the children. Vicky P says, I did see a clip of Fergie on YouTube. She's so joyous. That's another good word to describe it. Lady Buckingham Dawn says, is there some place we can watch this interview? Yes, it's on YouTube. And if you type in something like, I don't know, Sarah Ferguson or Fergie or Duchess of York, and then Good Morning... No, or actually, just go to Good Morning Britain YouTube channel and it will be there. There's two videos. There's a short one and an 8-minute one. So click on the 8-minute one, of course. Hello to little fairy lady. Let's have a... I'm just scrolling down some of the comments. Brooke says, if they remarry, it will be for positive reasons. It will indeed. Margaret says, Prince Harry was voted the #1 favourite royal in recent poll, while Andrew was last. Well, I mean, polls are polls. It depends who you ask, what your sample size is, and all the rest of it. Hello to Alicia. Hope Marie says, how are you? I'm good, thank you. I love your YouTube channel. Thank you so, so much. Mary says, Russell Brand is not a fan of the royals, but I'm not a fan of Russell Brand. How did Russell Brand come into this? Blue, red, yellow, green is curtsying. I'll do a bow. Let's have a look. Elaine says, green looked nice with her red hair, but outfit was too tight. I thought it fitted okay. It must have been measured. And you think she looked uncomfortable. Brooke says, I do like Sarah. I think she is a better fit with royalty now that she has matured. But she still describes herself as naughty. Mrs. BSN says, Sarah always remained herself, and that is a good thing in light of all the protocol that they were held to when she joined the firm. I mean, there is protocol, but there's not this big, massive book of protocol that seems to be broken every 2 seconds if you listen to some of the other channels. So there is no massive, humongous rule book, but there perhaps, I think, was a big few clangers in Sarah's case, which I'm sure she would readily admit to. But we're all over that now, aren't we? Karen says, would they wait until after Prince Philip's passing? I don't know. I mean, who knows what their reasons for not marrying, not remarrying are. Maybe they're just happy, but, you know, with regards to that, we'll have to wait and see when the time comes. Elaine says, I'm actually enamoured with Prince Charles these days. He is rather charming, but I don't think he's necessarily changed. I just think people are seeing more of him. He's allowing himself to be seen a little bit more, I think. Peopler says, I thought they were still married. No. Just estranged. No. In fact, the complete opposite. They aren't married and they're not estranged because they live in the same house. They purchased a Swiss ski chalet together. So no, they're certainly not estranged. It's the complete opposite to that comment. Claudia says, is it true that Princess Beatrice has a new boyfriend? Yes, it is. But if you would believe all the other channels, they're already getting hitched and pregnant and all this business. No. It's a very early stage relationship. Apparently they've been dating. They've been on one holiday together, so it's incredibly early days. I think I saw one video someone put about them possibly getting married within months. No, I don't think so. It's very early stage relationship. They've had a number of dates, one holiday. I think they're in the getting to know each other stage. They are most certainly are not going to be whistling off down the aisle. So just be careful of what you read and what you watch. It's a very early stage relationship. Glory says, I think Fergie and Andrew will remarry in the future as they are still in love. We can hold out our hope. She did say in the interview that thousands of people have expressed the wish that they should. So she does, listen to people. Charlotte says, I think Piers Morgan had a thing, maybe still does, for Duchess Meghan. He almost acts like a snubbed ex when speaking about her. Theories. Alicia says, do I have any tips for identifying fake news about Harry and Meghan? Yes. Okay, first tip. Look at the title and look at the thumbnail. If they look like they are, like it's crazy and like it is some kind of sensationalist gossip, then the likelihood is it's fake, or there's a tiny little sliver of truth and they've just run a mile with it. Or just always go to my channel, and if there is something big that's happened, I will report on it if it's true. If it's not on my channel, then the chances are it's just not true, or it's something that's been completely stretched. Alicia says, is Fergie still HRH? No. And does she still have a real title? No. What people get confused with is that a divorced HRH loses the HRH, typically. And if they, for example, Sarah was the Duchess of York, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of York. After the divorce, she became Sarah Duchess of York, and almost using Duchess of York like a surname, not an actual title. But if she remarried Andrew, she would get the HRH back and become the Duchess of York again. I hope that makes sense. It is very complicated. Let's have a look. Go Getter says, I'm learning about the Queen's tiaras. There are so many. There are indeed. Do you intend to purchase any more? I do, and I've seen some fabulous ones, but they're incredibly expensive. And I mean, they are exact replicas, and they're about 500 UK pounds. So, very expensive. But I would love them. And I'm sorry if people aren't getting notifications. That is YouTube and not me. People says, if they're living in the same house, why not just go ahead and remarry? A question which has been asked and put to them many times. You would never live in the same house with your ex-husband. That would not end well. I'd have to harm him. Well, I don't think there's any harm going on here. I mean, she said that she's not divorced from him. She's divorced to him. Whatever that means. Let's have a look. I'm just kind of skipping a little bit now. Mary Lewis says, if we had commentators like yourself who report or confirmed facts instead of making it up, would be so refreshing. Yours is the only channel I subscribe to for that reason, and I like your voice. Well, thank you. Alicia says, do you want Harry and Meghan's baby to be a boy or a girl? I don't mind as long as it's healthy. But I think Harry would like a girl. Okay. And I think I'm going to leave this live chat here. We've been going 22 minutes, and it was supposed to just be a little quick pop-up chat. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a big old thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share on social media. So all that's left for me to say is, until the next time I do a live pop-up chat, goodbye from me in Shropshire.